What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Inside Thoughts Out Loud. My name is Karita.
And I'm Chanel.
And we've switched positions. Hello.
Yeah. I didn't want her beside me. She looks small.
I'm still beside you.
But in a different way. Different angle. Trying something different.
Yes, we are. And we're back with another episode 14. And this episode is pretty timely for the current topic of discussion that's been flying all over the internet. TikTok, if you're a part of the TikTok world.
Now, women are responding to the question, would you rather encounter a bear or a man while alone in the woods?
You've heard or you've seen the video where they pose the question. To men, they pose the question. But the question is overall. I won't say it's to women, but I'll just say the question is overall. If you were in the woods, would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear? Now, when women pose this question to their counterparts, their partners, their husbands, the men seem to have a very conflicting physical response to the question.
Would you rather our daughter be in the woods with a bear or a man?
Like, is the bear near her?
They're just in the woods.
You say it like man. What kind of man?
Especially if they're fathers. And the question is, which would you prefer your daughter to be lost in the woods with, a bear or a man? Because logic says you choose the man.
Does their answer change depending on the daughter or the wife?
No, they often, they usually have this sort of like, you can see their brains working and they're doing the mental math. And usually when it's a father and he's talking about a daughter, he almost very instantly was like, well, does she know the man? No. Oh. And then they usually don't answer right away.
So have you ever asked Ori this question?
I did, and he's seen the video. And Ori's response was, if any man says another man, then he's very unaware. Because men are unpredictable, wanting of power and control, and bears are either hungry or concerned with their territory.
Yeah, so you know what you're facing.
And you also know this bear is going to attack me because he's hungry, not because he just sees an opportunity.
And let's be clear, this episode is not a let's hate on men episode. This is more of a let's be aware and conscious of what we're facing in the world with men.
And I think the reason why
crazy ones.
I think the reason why the question is so poignant is because when it's posed to a man, he then has to get outside of himself as a man and look at the situation objectively and be like, the reality is a bear might leave her alone if the bear is fed, if she's not in his territory.
Yeah.
While a man, especially when the sun goes down and he's physically bigger than her or stronger than her, the response is almost obviously that the man is eventually going to use his power against her. Now, again, like Chanel said, this is not an episode where our thought process is to bash a man or hurt a man, but we are considering the reality that in the grand scheme of threats, men are higher on the Richter scale than bears, because bears don't hunt men, skin them, and put them in their houses and call them trophies, while men do that to bears.
Yeah.
So we've got some questions, and I'm going to pose this question to you.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'll share my opinions, right? What's the most recent time you felt uncomfortable or unsafe while walking alone at night? What happened?
Yesterday.
Wow, that was...
It was yesterday. No, it happens actually pretty often. I mean, we've both committed to going on these walks every day, twice a day if possible.
Yeah.
I like to walk in the woods.
Like the woods, guys. Like tall trees?
Yeah, no, I really do enjoy it because I like to hear the birds and, I don't like seeing the other random creatures. But yeah, no, the other day I was walking. But the problem with the woods is you can't cross the street. It's just kind of...
The woods?
Yeah, it's just the woods. It's hard to get away. But there was someone who was trailing behind me, and I had my headphones in, and I was like, okay, let me take out one. so I could hear.
That's
And then I kept waiting for him to pass me.
No.
But it's like he was going slower. Like he
Mm.
slowed down.
What time of the day was this?
This is like 7:30 because I like to go. Okay, so I told you already the woods is behind the house, so
Yeah.
I walk through the woods. It brings me all the way to Aiden's school, and then I take the main road back. So
Okay.
it's like going in like
Okay.
3 kilometers overall.
Yeah. It's like partially covered, partially
Yeah.
uncovered.
So I like to go through the woods
Mhm.
because I can't come back because it's dark. By the time I come back, it's dark.
Mhm.
So my thought process is I'm gonna go when
Take
the
the
sun
main
is
road.
still out.
Yeah.
And then I'll take the main road back. But yeah, he was walking behind me and I could hear him, so I took out like the thing and I was like kind of slowing down to see if he would speed up to like pass me because he was already going at a pretty good speed.
Right.
And he just slowed down. And then he stayed back. So I was like, what is he doing? And you can't really wait for the person to pass you because it looks weird. It looks weird. So I continued to walk, but the whole time I ended up calling my aunt. So I could have her on the phone with me because I was like, this person, he was like creeping. Like it was weird. It was just a really uncomfortable situation. And then he took another path when we got to like the fork and he took another path towards another thing. But it just happened. But it happens all the time. It's like, but I don't know if they're nervous and they slow down. I don't know. What about you?
So mine was this week, and I actually shared the story on TikTok and Instagram. I'll put in a clip.
Yeah.
But essentially, I was walking during my lunch break. So day to day, there's not supposed to be so many people home. I work from home. Not so many people do, but some people do. So I was walking around my neighborhood, and there's no woods by me. So it's like neighborhood. People walking the dogs, their babies, walking to bus stops. And I was taking a particular trail that was kind of behind a lot of the houses where it is a bit of a trail, so to speak. There's like a makeshift lake or creek or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm walking, and I have Beats headphones. So normally I have AirPods, which you can do the 1 or 2 ears.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Beats because I wanted to be
Take it
surrounded
in.
by the
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
And then I quickly realized I don't like this idea of the Beats because I can't, like you said,
You can't
take the one ear out. And if you pull the ear back, it's obvious you're listening with
Mhm.
one. So anyway, I was walking, and this male kind of came up out of nowhere, but he came out in front of me. And I had kind of walked, you could almost argue it's like a square around the neighborhood. So he might have seen me crossing this way.
Yeah.
And so when I was making my way back around, he stepped out from his house area, I would assume, and was walking in front of me, and he was smoking, and I kind of deviated my path to avoid the smoke.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we ended up near my house now, I went to go to my mailbox, and when we were walking and I was behind him, he kept kind of
Looking back, even when he was in front of you.
Yeah.
So was he scared of you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm black, so there's potential. So I saw him, and then he looked back, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my route. So I walked. So while he was facing forward, I moved. So I don't know if he could have seen that I went a different way. He could have seen me,
Mhm.
but I ended up going a different way. Make it back to my house. I'm at my mailbox now, and he steps out again from where my houses are, but he's with a friend now.
Where did the friend come from?
I'm assuming he walked from his area, or because it's all you could walk.
Oh, it's like a circle. Okay.
Yeah, or like paths that all cross over. So I'm assuming he went to his friend's house, and the friend stepped out with him, and I'm looking at him, and I go, oh, so he went to get a friend. Cool. And I kept thinking to myself, if he doesn't mention that he'd seen me, this friend won't turn around.
Mhm.
And I'm going to my mailbox, and as I'm bending down, sure enough, the friend, who pulls his hood up immediately, gives me a quick 2 times. And I go, they're clocking me now.
Oh, Lord.
And again, middle of the day, I shouldn't feel this fear. So I go to my mailbox, I get my mailbox, and I wait for them to go around the corner,
Mhm.
and then I go to my house. So they
Yeah.
don't know exactly where I live. But this is the experience.
But why do we even have to do all that?
And so when I posed the question on TikTok, I said, am I being paranoid? Am I walking through the world as a very paranoid person? Should I just be able to just la 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 and not worry about anybody? Or do I have a problem? And the majority of the comments, even from men, were like, be diligent in this
Yeah.
world. If your gut says something, trust it. And I am a gut instinct kind of girl, which is why I clocked the guy and did what I did. But it's just like one lady said, she's like, oh, I like to be aware but not too worried about it.
Mhm.
But the majority of the comments were, it's better to be concerned or cognizant
Yeah.
than blindsided.
And I've actually had family members tell me that same thing, like just like be cautious. But I'm like, I don't want to live my life in fear that someone is going to attack me. But at the same time, the likelihood is more common than if I were a man. For someone to grab me from behind or do something to me, it's more likely, especially if you're a woman walking at night.
Or in a deserted
or
area.
actually, even in the day.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but like a
Walking,
lot of crime happens to women early in the morning,
parking garages,
day, parking garages,
elevators, stairwells,
hallways, stairwells. Yeah, it happens a lot. So
yeah, and
rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what? For me, and the majority of the people who commented, I was like, because, and you could argue, I watch true crime, you're paranoid, blah blah blah.
I prefer to be paranoid.
I'm sure there's loads of women who experienced assaults or worse, were true crime watchers too, and thought I'm diligent, but I also have to live my life and cross the street at night to go to the store.
Yeah,
and something happened to them. So at no point in time am I going to make myself feel ridiculous for clocking men.
Yeah.
Especially in the daytime, and you're not walking a dog.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's unfair because men want to be able to go for walks like we do. But you also, and one of the comments from the men that I really appreciated, he was like, I am aware that my presence makes women uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm a big man. And he's like, so I am very cognizant.
So he's not holding it against us.
He said to the point where if he sees women walking on the street, he will cross the road for them.
Yeah.
Now, he's a grown man. Like I'm talking like white beard and the whole lot. But I can't fault other men for not wanting to respond that way.
Yeah.
But in turn, you then can't fault us as women for being uncomfortable with the fact that I don't know you. I don't know your motives.
Mm-hmm.
And if I cross the street, I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm really doing it for me.
Would you, just curious,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you cross the street if there was like, I don't know, a woman walking behind you, or you wouldn't even think?
See, me, I'm a very direct person. So, and I'm a woman of color. And if I'm walking behind an old white lady and I've got my hood up and I'm listening to music and my music is loud and I can tell that she's like
uncomfortable.
Right.
You
I will no, I will walk in front of her.
Oh, okay.
I will speed up and I will get in front of her so now she can see me.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's, but you know what? I think that's a really respectful thing to do. Regardless of whether you're black or anything, if you see someone looks nervous, just either go ahead or move away from them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that person to feel unsafe, and I also
know what it feels like.
I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm experiencing those moments, or kids or whatever, I do my best to let them know I'm not focused on you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get somewhere, but I can understand how you feel. So when that man said it in the comments, I was like, I haven't had much other men sort of engage with the post.
Yeah.
But I think when I posted to Ori, he said the same thing. He was like, the question of if you're stranded in the woods, if you would prefer to be stranded or surrounded by or near a man versus a bear, the men who get uncomfortable are coming from a place of, I'm a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would never do that to you.
Or how dare you even think I would do that to you.
Right. And they get very defensive and they're like, you would rather be in the woods with a man versus a man could save you. A man could also hit me over the head, tie me to a tree. Mm-hmm. I wake up, my clothes are gone, my shoes are gone, and my teeth are pulled out because he doesn't want the officers to identify my body and do all kind of things with me. A bear will just eat me.
Yeah.
And leave me.
Let's not forget, there's a lot of criminals that are men. A lot. Like, the numbers are really, really, really high in comparison to female murderers or female rapists or female arsonists. There are more men that commit crimes
against women, too.
Against women.
High proportion.
And in general.
Come on. Like,
yeah, there's a high, it's a little bit too high, I think.
Okay, so.
Considering I'm raising a son. This makes me very nervous, but.
And he's got the double whammy. He's black and he's a boy.
Yeah.
So, okay, this kind of ties into what you had asked me, where it says, have you ever changed your route or plans because of feeling unsafe? Can you share an example?
Change your route. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like change your route or plans because, so first of all, because I don't like driving at night because of the glare, I don't go out at night on my own. Like, I don't drive anywhere on my own, but if I've ever been caught, like in the winter, when the sun goes down at 4, and I'm at the grocery store, no, I've gone to the grocery store, but what I do is, I know where I'm going. So I'm going to, this grocery store and this grocery store. or I'm only going to one and then I'm sending Ori to go to the other.
Yeah.
And I park as close to the door as I possibly can. I park where there's as many cars as possible.
No white vans, no vans.
And it's happened to me once where right before we moved here,
Mhm.
I had to do a therapy session and I ended up having to do it in the car because couldn't make it back to the house. So I pulled into a Canadian Tire parking lot with a bunch of stores around me. There's no
Mhm.
reason for me to feel uncomfortable, and the sun was going down. And I park in a very deserted part of the parking lot.
So you could take your call.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm setting up and I'm in the middle of my therapy session where this ginormous truck pulls up in front beside me. So now people walking out of the store,
Were there lots of other spots?
tons.
Wow.
And he pulls up right beside me. And I remember talking to Liz and seeing him sort of turn the truck off. And I'm realizing this is where you're pulling up
Mm-hmm.
of all
Of
of
all
the
the
empty
empty
spaces
spots,
in front
yeah.
of me and behind me. So in the middle of my therapy session, I said, Liz, one sec. And I pulled my car forward.
Yeah.
Like a couple of rows. And I kept thinking to myself,
Why would that makes me uncomfortable too.
and it's a truck. I'm talking like a transport truck.
Yeah.
That
I know what you're talking about.
So I'm thinking, if nobody can see my little car beside you,
No
you could snatch me, and nobody would know that I was in the car.
And it'd be quick.
Right.
It'd be real quick.
And this was right after a woman in Milton had gotten attacked for her car.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was super diligent of watching the random cars, and
Yeah.
there were cars who kind of just drive around the parking lot.
So that's what happens when I go to Walmart. Like this happens all the time. Aiden has witnessed it, and he doesn't get it until I explained it to him. But especially when I'm packing groceries into the car.
Mm-hmm.
One, I put my purse in the front
Mhm.
and I lock the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Then I load my groceries, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't want to be robbed or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if there's a van on either side of me, I'm not parking there. And if there is a van there, usually I'm just like, I try to put up the music or just do something so people can see me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the fact that I even have to think about these things is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it on the news. Like, woman walks to her car, guy puts a gun to her head. I mean, I'll just be honest with you guys. Don't even come for me because I'm fighting to the death.
And you're also like 5'6", 5'7", so you're
I'm
tall.
like 5'5", but
Well, you seem tall.
I have resting bitch face, so a lot of people really don't look at me.
Me too.
But
It's a saving grace, actually.
if you put a gun to my head, I'll tell you just shoot me because I'm not getting in the car with you.
I have been,
or we're fighting.
Nah.
It's only one of those two things. But you think I'm getting in my car?
so I'm not making it easy for you, but they say that predators look for women who don't look like how we look.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look for the confident woman who's staring you dead in your face like, what, bitch?
Yeah.
They're looking for the girls who have the headphones on, but their heads are down,
Mm-hmm.
and they're holding their jacket, or they seem a bit more meek. And I hate that women feel like they can't be who they are in the world, but I purposely put on my resting bitch face on high
Yeah.
when I'm in the grocery store or walking. Like, when I walk from here to the Sylvia's, I purposely put on my resting bitch face intently if Ori's not with me,
Yeah.
because I want you to look at me and be like, that girl's gonna put up a fight. Because I am. I will pee on you. I will poo on you. I will bite you. I will dig your eyes out. If anything is free, I'm using it. I'm not going gentle into that good night. I'm not.
And that's why when I go for my walks in the woods, like years ago when I used to walk places, I used to look down.
Mm.
But now when I'm walking and I see people coming from another direction, I look at them and I say hi.
Mm.
So we're making eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, and even though we're passing and then he's behind me, I'll quickly look back and keep walking until we're further enough away from each other that the likelihoods of him attacking me are slim. But I make eye contact now. Before I used to just like look down and be like, I don't want to make eye contact with this person, but now I want him to see, I see you, your eyes, your face, everything. I want to see it.
Yeah. And I used to be really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
So I always felt like if the wind blew too hard, you could take me away. And so I was
pretty small.
And even though I've gained weight, I'm still small in the grand scheme of things. But I've always been so cognizant of being like, don't let this person for 1 second think you're uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where if a man passes me and I'm walking down like the subway, walkways where they're kind of like narrow, and he passes me, I will fully turn around and watch him.
Yeah.
That's how that's how much I want you to know. I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm going to make sure that you haven't turned around. If you turn around, catch you.
And look, you've gone, 35 years?
Yeah.
No attacks.
No attacks. No attempts. I just feel like women today, especially with the 4B movement happening in, the Asian countries, women are tired of just being kind of almost told, deal with it.
Yeah.
Men are 50%
Or that
of the
it doesn't
population.
exist. Let's forget the deal with it. Let's talk about people saying that that's not something that is worth being afraid of. Because I hear that a lot more than oh, it's not likely. I hear more like, don't even worry about it. There's, you don't have to worry.
How many women in this, because of this trend, said people would believe me if I told them that a bear attacked me, but they would be more likely to not believe me if I told them a man attacked me?
Mm-hmm.
How disheartening is that thought process alone?
Yeah.
That you know that the people around you would be like, oh my God, you got attacked by a bear? But if you told them you were at a party and you had too much to drink, but you knew you were leaving and this person touched you inappropriately,
are you sure you're just not uncomfortable and embarrassed from what you did?
Did you like talk to him earlier that night? Did you
give him
lead him on?
Yeah, it's always those questions. Nobody's started.
Nobody's asking if you let on a bear. So again,
did you try and feed the bear a fish and then he took your whole hand?
Did you pet him? Here, bear, come bear. And then the bear was like, bitch, no. There's no confusion or
yeah, it is what it is, and it'll be pretty obvious too. But anyways, yeah, that's ridiculous to me that we still live in this world. Every time I watch Law and Order, that's always the question towards women that are attacked. Like, are you sure you're not just embarrassed that he turned you down and rejected you, and now you're accusing him of rape? Like,
the fact that people still ask those questions today, I feel like if I was a woman and I had just been assaulted and somebody asked me that question, I would flat out spit in their face.
Yeah.
In this day and age, with everything you know about attacks on women and rape and the likelihood of it happening with drugs and clubs or just sex rings and trafficking. If you look me in my face and ask me if I'm sure I didn't, I will spit in your face.
Yeah, the are you sure is a stupid question. Mind you, I think we end up on, taking many steps back when people do lie. Like Miss Black Girl who said she got kidnapped and there was a baby on the highway.
I don't want to talk about her.
You made all of us black folk look crazy.
I don't want to talk about her. She's such an embarrassment.
Like, come on. It's bad enough we don't have people looking for us, but now the cops are going to be like, no, now you really need to prove you were kidnapped before we come look for you.
And the worst part is that she used a little white girl to get people to really pay attention.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue and then we're getting off topic, but you could argue that it was a test to see how quickly people sprung into action because she said it was a little white girl versus a little black girl. But at the end of the day, crying wolf about these things,
it's not funny.
It helps nobody. Okay, third question.
Next question.
What role do you think technology, phones, apps, watches, plays in making women feel safer when walking around alone?
Oh, I love, like, on Apple, they have, like, the new emergency call thing that you don't really have to even push the button.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to do it yet, but I read somewhere that it has some sort of, you can just, like, click or...
Yeah, double press, and
it'll call the cops right away.
Yeah.
I think that that's really helpful for women. Not helpful if you don't have a phone. But what else?
I know that, and I've seen in some true crime docs where women's watches, because if you have the health app set up, people can pinpoint when either the watch came off of you, or your heart stopped.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen it in true crime docs where they've been able to say her heart thingy went off or was like it flagged and said something's wrong on this time.
So it's only going to help when I'm dead?
Well, there's a tracking level to it. And so if you kind of know where the person was or who they were with or who they were around or the vicinity, then it kind of helps to narrow down what happened to you and when it happened to you.
I also like, because I do this if I go on dates with people that I meet online.
Drop your pin.
I not even share my location with a friend.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the same time.
Where you could share it for a day or two or whatever. Just like, hey, I'm sharing my location with you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything happens to me.
And more simply, I used to always take photos of license plates and send it to my mom. Like when I was in like the 2000 and like
and any man who doesn't like
if you get uncomfortable by that,
I've done it before too. Like if I'm getting in the car with them, like show me your license, and
show me your license.
Yes, I want their face.
I'm just taking a picture of the license.
I don't bother the license plate. You might change cars. No, show me your license. I take a picture. This is who I'm with. Anything happens to me.
Yeah.
But if you get uncomfortable as a man and be like, nah, you're not getting in my car.
I feel like a self-aware man today, with everything that we all know collectively, if you are offended by that question, if you are offended by a woman taking precaution, then you are a part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because if you are walking through the world thinking that women are just making things up knowing, again, what we know today, the number of assaults that happen, why the 4B movement is what it is in China, and women are saying, I'm done with men, point blank, period. You ain't getting no babies, we're not going on dates, I'm not talking to you, I'm not sitting near you. They literally have trains that are women-only trains. You know what that means for day-to-day women traveling before they implemented that? That you could almost guarantee either going to work or coming home from work, somebody was touching you inappropriately.
Yeah.
And on the train, some people could be, oh, sorry.
Don't even get me started on the train. Ugh.
But that's what started the 4B movement, to the point where women are just like, you know what? We are no longer taking this.
Yeah.
We don't want to be a part of it. But when men's response is to have the 4GC or movement or the 5G movement in response to women, you're not taking into account the true issue at hand.
And I don't like that they think like, oh, because this has happened to me on the subway. Like, I've been on the subway at night and a guy has sat like across from me or beside me and started.
No. Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime, jerking off.
Full
on
out?
the train.
Like,
fully out. Usually I could tell there's some mental illness there, but that's not the point. There's a whole train available for you to sit, and I'm telling you, it's disgusting. And other people are like, well, at least he's not touching you. No, I feel disgusting when someone just sits across from me and starts like, and staring at me. And I got obviously to the back of the train and I just left that area. But mental illness or not, I'm sorry, but women, we have a reason to be scared. Even if it's not a physical touch. If a man is just staring at me, looking me up and down and licking his lips, I'm leaving. Okay? I'm not sitting there to see what he's going to do next.
And we're allowed to be uncomfortable by
And we're
that.
allowed to.
Because it is unwanted, it is unwarranted, it is unprovoked. And even if it's a little bit provoked, the level of... That's egregious.
It's disgusting.
Like, you're on a subway train
I'm
and
just trying to get home.
People are literally minding their own business, and you're pulling out your wingding and doing that kind of things. What is wrong?
That has happened to me, I'd say 3 times.
And yeah, like you said, the whole mental illness thing, I get it, and I can give some grace. But again, when it comes to those things, the proper precautions aren't in place to protect people. And that's why the level of violence that was happening at TTC was so bad, because there was nothing in place to protect.
And the amount of money we paid to take that stupid subway, and you're telling me we can't up the security?
No.
Why can't you have a security dude on each train? Like, why is it like you could only get security when you get on the platform? And even then, it's not 100%. Because they're at the top where you, pay. But it's like, why don't you guys have money for security?
Think about in the Asian countries where, they're so stringent with rules and how to properly act in the public. Mm-hmm. And there are, like you say, like cops and things everywhere. And still and their subway system is far more elite than ours.
Yeah.
And still somehow women were day-to-day facing something that, like you said, all you have to do is drop a security card in each train. Because I know you could afford it.
Yeah.
I know you can afford it.
With the amount of money we pay, yeah. We're building all these extra lines and all this stuff that's going on, but
not a priority. But it's not a priority.
We're not keeping people safe.
No.
And I think in that case, I wasn't unsafe, I don't think.
It could have gotten worse.
But it could have been worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was just playing with himself. I guess we would call it that. But I'm just saying, like, it's just like we're all kind of dealing with this uncomfortable.
That affects you no matter if it's directly on you, beside you, or in front of you.
I don't want anyone doing that around me.
You still carry it with you.
Yeah.
And the next time you go on a subway train, you're uncomfortable and you're like, oh God, who's going to sit near me? Who's going to sit beside me? Should I stand up and face the door?
I do not like anyone sitting beside me. But also, when the train is full, I'm not as uncomfortable because, like, what are the chances of someone doing something to me when the train is full? But I hate TTC. I will drive myself. I will go downtown, have a lot of drinks, be drunk, and just be drunk at Finch Station and then wait to drive my car until I'm sober. Then be on that train underground with all the nighttime crazies.
I just don't be going nowhere. When the sun goes down,
I ain't leaving my house.
And I'm not doing it. And if I'm going somewhere, like if I'm going to Toronto and Or's not coming with me and I'm taking the train, then I'm staying at someone's house.
Yeah.
Even though I hate that with my whole soul.
No. Did I tell you that my cousin called me because she took an Uber? And the Uber driver, she was drunk. Mind you, she told him she was drunk. But at the end of the day,
oh God,
he was having conversations with her and just talking to her. And then he pulled into the gas station and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm going to go to the gas station. And then
during her fare?
During her fare, yeah. So she's just kind of sitting there waiting. And then he went and bought condoms.
See?
He asked her. I won't go into the name, but he
asked her what?
to have you know what, and she was like scared, so she just said, no, I'm on my whatever, and you can call me another time. And I don't know, she just kind of panicked and said whatever she could to kind of get out of it. But he literally brought her to like the middle of nowhere after he did that at the gas station. Then he brought her to like the back of like a grocery store. She reported it. But I'm saying, like, there's Uber drivers that are specifically taking like nighttime shifts, and they could see it. He didn't even care that they could see it. Like, her friends are the ones who ordered it for her, so they could see that he was going on some like roundabout thing. Not that they did anything about it, but I'm saying, like, there are still perverts out there that are doing specific jobs so that they can get vulnerable women in positions that they can get what they want from them. And I think it's disgusting.
I'm flabbergasted by that story.
Yeah, I didn't even give you the full details of it.
But just the arrogance and the audacity to take me somewhere so you could buy something to protect yourself, to violate me and my body, and then turn around and again, this is why I don't go nowhere, because I always thought, nah, it's Uber driver. I see your face. I drop my pin with my family. They can watch my journey on an app because that's how the Uber app is.
And he knows he's being tracked, but he's still willing.
That's what I'm saying.
To risk his job.
The audacity of that level, being like, doesn't matter because even if they report me, I've already gotten what I want. That's the level of power and control we have a problem with. That's the level of arrogance that some men need to just kind of recognize. There are some men who are just like, yeah, I might get caught, but I will have already done it.
And I would have already gotten what I wanted.
Already done what I wanted to do.
I'll get another job.
So catch me if you can, but I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah. That's why we would rather be in the woods with a bear than a man.
Yep.
Because the level of power and control that comes with taking something from someone not as strong as you or weaker than you or more afraid of you, that's not how bears operate. Yeah. That's how men operate.
And the only reason why he thought that is because she was talking to him and having conversations.
Friendly.
She was being friendly, and he took that friendliness as, she wants me. She didn't say anything like that.
Let me tell you, ladies.
She's just drunk and chatting with you.
I've learned very early that nothing good comes from being friendly to men that you don't know.
Yeah.
When I worked at a gym and I had men on a date, you should smile more. I said, why? You're just coming in the gym and leaving.
I say that to men. Like, every time someone tells me, oh, you should smile. Did you tell a joke?
Literally, that was my sentence for years. I only smile when something's funny, and you're not.
You're not funny.
You're not giving me a joke. So
are you a clown?
Get in the gym and get out of my face. And so many of the men used to be like, "Oh, you're so angry," and I'm like, "No, I'm not."
And it's annoying. Do you ever see men go to other men and say,
"You should smile more.
You should smile more.
You look handsome.
You look way better if you smile."
The problem is that comment comes from the fact that men think that women were put on this earth for their eyes, for their consumption in whatever capacity. So because you walk past me and I'm not smiling, you have the audacity to fix your mouth that your mother gave you to look at me and tell me that I should smile because it makes you happy. Who are you to me?
Yeah. Who are you?
Why? What I give you? Did you write me a check? Did you buy me some new shoes? Yeah. You gave me nothing.
And all you men, you know who we're talking to because you do it so much. It's like,
stop it.
Stop it. I don't owe you a smile because you entered the room. You didn't do anything.
And I promise you, if you have a daughter and she comes home and she worked at McDonald's and some nasty man who comes in every week and says nasty things to her, says to you, yeah, he told me to smile today. Mm-hmm. Your response would be, why would you smile at him?
And let's talk about what a compliment really is. It's telling me you want to lick me is not a freaking compliment.
I like your skin. I like your skin. Why you want to wear it? You want to put it on your wall? You weirdo?
Why do people do that?
I just would rather.
Just don't.
That's it. Just don't.
Just don't.
You know how Nike says just do it? Stop listening to them. They're lying to you.
Don't do it.
Just do it.
Don't just
think before you open your mouth and say disgusting things.
And think how this person feels. This person doesn't know me. This person doesn't owe you anything.
And also, she could have literally just almost shit her pants. Yeah. And now she's just trying to get from the bus stop to her house. And you're going, you should smile anymore. I'm trying to hold in the shit in my pants. Don't tell me to smile. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. You don't know
what's going on. Just shut up and let us live our lives. I'm sorry. Like, that really took a dark turn. But let me just tell you, we're done with it. We're tired of it. We don't owe you guys shit.
But I really do like that question that you asked. Would you say that to another man? Because... No, you wouldn't. Why would I want to see a man smile? Why would you want to see a random woman smile at you?
Yeah.
She's not your mommy.
She doesn't owe you nothing.
I'm not your mommy. I don't owe you nothing. I didn't give you breast milk. I didn't feed you. I didn't change your nappies. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Even like I don't care who you are. Don't tell me that I should smile at you when you didn't do nothing.
See, this is clearly because you and I have resting bitch face on another level.
No, men tell me this on a regular basis because I
you smile more
a lot.
than I do. Yeah,
I smile more
I
than
purposely
you do.
don't smile.
So men, if they see me smiling and then they don't see me smiling, like, oh, why aren't you smiling? Oh, why aren't you smiling at me? It costs nothing to smile. Fuck you. It costs me my soul to smile at you for nothing.
Let me tell you something. Some women have lost their lives. It's cost them their lives because they smiled at the wrong dude on the right day. So yes, it does cost something.
Smile at him in a bar.
Or at the store that he knows you work at from
it can literally
5
just
to
be
9.
gas.
Yeah, literally.
And he's like, oh, she wants me. No, I've actually learned now as an adult woman that I'm really not going to be super nice anymore because men do think
friendly.
When you're friendly, that you want them.
And that's why
That is not what's happening.
No.
I'm having a conversation with you because you're talking to me. That is not code for take me in the bathroom. And no, it's not. If I want you, I will literally tell you I want you.
Again, if a man did that, why you wouldn't be like, oh, that man wants me. Mm-hmm. From a man to a man, you wouldn't be like, he wants my number. Yeah. I don't swing that way, but you just be like, oh, it's just a nice guy. Why can't she just be a nice girl who just happens to see a fellow human coming into the store and going, hi, good morning. Yeah. Not, oh, she says good morning every morning.
Yeah, she must really want me. Let me take her out to dinner, get her some drinks, and then attack her.
No, let me stay till the end of her shift because I know when her shift ends, and then be like, I can walk you home. I could drive you home. And you're like, no, thank you. He's like, come on, you like me. You know you like me. No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I was just friendly because my manager told me I can't look like a bitch. So I said, hi, good morning. And now you've taken that hi, good morning and written a whole narrative.
And this advice happens for men who think sex workers or women that are strippers are smiling at you because they want you. That's their job. Okay? Their job is to create a fantasy for you. It's not real unless they tell you it's real.
Words matter. Yeah. I want your dinero is different from I want your wingding. Okay? Mm-hmm. Very clear difference. Don't mix the two. And yes, you might be able to use your dinero to get the wingding, but again, she really just wants the dinero.
And we women, I'm sorry, but we'll tell you if we want to. At this point, like, we're not really doing the whole chase after a lot of women now. Okay, when we want something, we're just gonna go for it.
I like it and I won't shit.
I like it and I won't shit.
But what I think is really happening is because women are tired of having to explicitly explain their position in the world, that we are just choosing ourselves.
Yeah.
Women are
go without you.
We'd rather choose the cat and the dog and the bird and the lizard than the man because
the headache.
The man is unpredictable. I watched a video where it was a true crime story where the woman was talking to her husband and he was like getting mad and he was like, "Woman, I have small man syndrome. I will hurt you." And she was like, "Hee." She was laughing him off. And they kind of show clips of them fighting.
Yeah.
Eventually, that short man lit her on fire.
Is this real?
100%.
Shit. But yeah, that is literally how it happens. You don't know when it's going to happen when they just...
And nowadays, it's like, you can be like...
Or throw acid at you.
Oh.
Let's not even go down that.
Or throw gasoline on you and then light a match and light your whole ass on fire. Something is wrong.
They really go from 0 to 100 real quick. These rejected men.
This isn't an episode about bashing men.
Sorry, guys. We're not supposed to be bashing men, but I'm sorry. It is sounding like we're bashing. We're not trying to bash.
I'm bashing the bad guys.
Yeah,
I am.
Watch the Barbie movie if you want to understand how these men move. Okay, watch the Barbie movie. It's legit. Y'all just want to mansplain everything and take over the world for no goddamn reason.
Listen, I just finished saying this isn't a man bashing episode, and then you went right back into the man bashing.
I can't help it. But I do love me some men, so don't take that offensively.
We like the good ones. We like the ones who are understanding of the fact.
Like the conscious ones, the aligned ones.
Yes, and the ones who are like, yes, I too would rather you be in the woods with a bear than my fellow man, because I know men can be problematic.
Yeah.
And I'm
really not even worried about the bear, to be honest. I'll just stay away.
I would forgive the bear because I knew the bear was hungry, or it was like, you in my house and you're not supposed to be in my house.
I'm building a home up in them trees.
That's why I can forgive the bear, but the man, I can promise you I won't forgive.
Apparently bears can't swim straight. Is that true? Sorry. I don't know why my head went that way.
We're going to end the episode
What's the next question? Are we done?
Yes. And with that conversation about bears swimming,
we're also going to put a manual on how to survive bears in the woods.
How to survive bear in the woods. Don't look them in the eye.
Because they can climb trees.
Don't run.
There's other ones. We got to find them.
They say to roll up in the fetal position, but that's only, I think, with black bears or brown bears, one or the other.
Stop, drop, and roll.
No,
Nope,
that's fire.
Anyways, you guys just go look up a manual, but there's definitely not a manual on how to survive men. So.
Run in the other direction. And apparently we can't use pepper spray in Canada. We use bear spray, though.
Yeah, which is weird.
Ironically.
Weird? That's ironic.
We should send that to the cops and be like, so...
We can buy bear spray and spray men with them, but we can't spray them with pepper spray.
And you know that the bear is really only hungry.
You know, it was probably a male that made that rule.
100%. Because his brother probably kept getting sprayed.
He's like, oh my god, every time I attack a woman, she sprays me. That's it. I'm banning it.
No, for real,
and you got all the other men to vote, too. Good job. We got bear spray anyway.
What a terrifying world we live in.
I know.
Men make the rules about how we can protect ourselves. Especially in Canada. This is why sometimes I wish we lived in Florida, because they're like...
No, they're just equally bad. They're not letting women have abortions.
Yeah, but when it comes to protecting yourselves from that perspective, they say, listen.
They also let men have guns, so is the pepper spray really going to help you?
Yeah, but they let women have guns, too.
That's true.
That's the difference.
All right, so we get guns and pepper spray?
They get guns and pepper spray. We in Canada, we get bear spray. You can't use a knife. And if you hurt a person who breaks into your house, they can charge you.
Yeah.
You can get in trouble for hurting them. Guess what? Write up my charges, officer.
Well, now there's a precedence because there's a guy in Brampton. He just got off on that. He killed the guy who came into his house and I guess attacked his mother and him. He killed him and he was released. It happened in Brampton. So that now we have precedence, I'm saying. Before we didn't have the precedence of another trial that happened.
That's good. That's really
before
good.
it was like, oh, you could not kill him, but he got the murder charges.
Because if you put me in a jury and you tell me that's the situation, not guilty.
Yeah. No, they came into the house and attacked his mother and him and he took out the gun and went.
Wow.
Yep. I don't know all the details. I saw it pop up on the news app the other day.
I might have to look that one up. Anyway,
Anywho.
we've gone off the rails, as we do.
Once again.
If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. And if you've experienced any of what we've experienced, write it in the comments because we want to hear about it. Was this too harsh? Let us know. If you're a man, we're not listening to you anyway.
Ladies, was this too harsh? Obviously.
Ladies, was this too harsh on the men? We're asking you your opinion, not the men.
But I would like to get some stories, if I can, from our viewers and our listeners telling us, briefly what they've experienced and how they kind of
maneuver in the world.
Yeah, and got themselves out of that situation. Because I feel like we need to... I think we're at a time in the world where we're having the hard conversations and we're also trying to help each other.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's have this conversation. Let's, as our boss would say, take it offline and bring it in the comments.
He does say that a lot.
If you like this episode, let us know. We'll see you in the next one.
All right, bye guys.
Let's take this offline.
Let's take this offline.